Hey, let's talk tax season. Christmas is great, and so is New Year's, and Easter, and even Black Friday. But none of them is greater than tax seasons. Because the majority of us, we actually get to reclaim all of those taxable expenses we have made throughout the year. For majority of us, it is the only time in the year that we actually get money back instead of spending it. But do you know who hates tax seasons? Yep, accountants. Tax seasons are a nightmare for accountants simply because they have to put in a lot of long hours, meet a lot of deadlines, attend so many numerous meetings while taking a huge pile of phone calls and also responding to emails. So, how can you as an entrepreneur help your accountant during this very difficult moment? Simple. Bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is not an option that should be skipped. It is needed, it is mandatory. Bookkeeping provides the information that is needed for tax return preparation. When an entrepreneur has accurate records of your income and your expenses, you can easily prepare for tax return and ensure that you are paying the correct amount of money in taxes. This will also save a ton of time for your accountant. So if your expenses are properly categorized, your accountant will most likely charge you less, as this is taking a huge pile of work from their desk. If you have properly classified your expenses and your income on a reliable accounting system, emphasis on reliable, you should already know what you may owe or receive from the government. So as a bookkeeper myself, I'm going to give you 2 tips that I've learned to apply when doing my books. Number 1, receipts. Always attach receipts to every invoice that you enter or every transaction that you enter. Why? Because it is proof that you actually paid whatever amount of money you said you paid. Now, yes, you've entered it into your accounting software, but it was entered by you. So, if you are audited 10 years from the day that you entered a transaction, that receipt or invoice is proof that you actually entered or paid that transaction. Number 2, double check for tax IDs. Let's say you get a receipt from Google and you're located in Canada. If Google's tax ID is registered in the US, then technically you should not be paying taxes with that transaction because your business doesn't operate in the US. You owe taxes to the Canadian government, not the US government. So when Google pays its tax allocation to the government, it is paid to the US government. Now, when you enter your transaction on, let's say, QuickBooks or Xero, you say, I paid X amount of money to Google in taxes. I need the Canadian government to refund me X amount. Well, that's wrong because the money you paid never went to the Canadian government. It went to the US government. So how can the Canadian government refund you money that they never get in the first place? So, to avoid this kind of issue, you want to ensure that the tax agency you're paying for and the tax ID are registered with a Canadian tax agency. So what should you do if you notice this is different? Simply send a request to the vendor and ask them to give you a tax exempt status. Now you may ask, does this apply to expenses that are made on international travels? Yes and no. However, we can discuss this extensively in my next video. Now, what you want to do as an entrepreneur is ensure that your tax IDs or tax agency or your vendors are properly charging you for whatever transaction that you enter. Ensure that any transaction you put into your account is actually taxable. If an invoice is given to you that doesn't have an allocation for taxes, you should technically not put that into your account as a taxable expense, unless you have a conversation with your vendor and they provide you a reliable tax ID that you can claim that money back to. So I hope you understand the reason why having a bookkeeper can help you save a lot of stress, save a lot of time from your tax return season, and this will actually help you in a lot of ways. So if you need help with bookkeeping in any way, simply send an email to DivineAssistants and we can help you prepare properly for the tax season. Hope this helps. Like and follow for more.